says it, you know, says it.
2nd, 2023. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law in section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the city planning department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We've provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak in a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak in a particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Excellent. Would you like to call the roll?
Sure. Ms. Holzer?
Present.
Ms. Roca?
Present.
Ms. Brown?
Present.
Ms. Wilson?
Present.
Ms. Bates?
I'm here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum with 5 members.
Awesome.
Probably welcome back, Ms. Terry.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Excellent to see you back.
I'm happy to return. Thank you.
You have no idea how happy I am. Ms. Brown has been on loan for a little while, so we have not had a full complement of board members in several months now. So, all right, excellent. Postponements?
We did receive 2 this morning, Madam Chair. It came to us yesterday. The first one is calendar number 23-143 regarding 1862 St. Clair Avenue. Is the appellant here for this case? Okay, it looks like he or she is not. This request came from the councilperson. Oh, it does state that both the applicant and the councilperson would like to postpone the meeting. They still have some details to work out. The applicant is CC'd on the email and said he will circle back once we're ready to move forward. So Madam Chair, we can give them later in November, if that works for you. Let's see, I think the 27th, we will have 1 member out. So perhaps the 21st?
Sounds good.
All right. Calendar number 23-143 is postponed to November 21st. There will be no testimony on that case this morning. And the second, Councilman Harrison also asked for a postponement on another case. That is calendar number 23-144.
Okay.
Is the appellant here for that case? Yes. Hi. Councilperson is asking for a postponement. He has not had time to meet with the applicant and would like more time to,
Where are they?
okay.
Right?
Right.
Are you the owner? Are you, Edward Turk Jr. or, okay. So I would suggest that you, go down to the 2nd floor and see if you can, meet with the councilperson down there. We don't know if he's in this morning, but he apparently has tried to get in touch or, just hasn't been able to take the time to speak with you.
Never received anything from him, a phone call or an email.
Okay.
So we have to talk to him before we can come here.
That's his request. When did we receive that?
This was, yesterday.
Yeah, so we got it yesterday. Council offices are on the 2nd floor, almost directly underneath us. So,
We can be sure to, put this back on the November 7th agenda, just to kind of
yeah,
give it a quicker turnaround. He did not ask for a specific date. Yeah, he did. He said sometime in October. So October 7th, November, he wished for. So
okay.
November 7th. We'll get you back on as quick as possible. Which one is it?
44, 144.
So that one will be on November 7th.
And you just walked in. Are you with 23-143 by chance, sir? Okay. We're just going through postponements right now, so you're fine.
We do have a council person. So
Saw
that's
that.
all that we have for postponements and withdrawals.
Okay. Do we
Councilwoman,
have
how's
any-
it going?
Councilwoman Stephanie has the health online.
Okay.
She received her.
Got it.
Okay. And Councilman Slife indicated that, so we're good. Do we have anything we need to bundle today?
I don't believe so, Madam Chair. No.
All right. So postponements without objection, board?
No objection.
No objection.
Great, thank you. All right. So we're, Councilman House is with us, so that takes us to 23-145. So, Ms. Hulser, if you'd like to read that case for us.
Sure thing. Good morning, everyone. Our first case is calendar number 23-145. This is at 7001 Euclid Avenue. George Family Enterprises LTD owner proposes to install a 12,000-gallon above-the-ground gas storage tank and all equipment in the Midtown Mixed Use District 2, parenthetically MMUD-2. The owner appeals for relief from a strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. Also note that this case was postponed from September 11th, 2023 due to a lack of quorum. And there's also a note that Cleveland Planning Commission approval is required. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Roca for the oath.
Actually, Ms. Wilson will do the oath, unless Ms.
Oh,
Roca
okay.
is really excited to do it today.
I would love for Miss Wilson to do the oath today.
Okay, great.
No problem. So for all of those who will speak in this case, I'll administer the oath. Please raise your right hand. And after I administer the oath, reply with "I do," your name and your address. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And then you state your name and your address.
My name is Charlotte Perkins, and I live at 1927 East 70th Street.
My name is Councilwoman Stephanie House Jones, and I live at 1804 East 93rd Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44106.
Okay. Thank you, Councilwoman. Anyone else? I see a couple of hands up.
Robert Johnston, 3660 Embassy Parkway. Maryland.
Okay, thank you. And you, sir?
Good morning, Terry Killeen, 76 South Main Street, Akron, Ohio.
Kill.
EEN.
Okay.
If you're the applicants, could you please come up to the table?
Sure thing.
You may have to grab a chair. Ladies, if you want to. Do we have anyone online? Okay, great.
What?
Okay, are you going to be the spokesperson?
Yes, I am.
All right. Let's do history of the property.
Sure thing, Madam Chair. This property was originally split between general retail and semi-industry, and the MMUD district was established in 2006. There are no variances on file for this address, and nothing of note in our records administration on this. Thank you.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Brian D. Smith, Mr. Fraser, and I don't know if he's with the applicants or.
Brian Smith, are you wishing to make testimony on calendar number 23-145?
He's still muted.
It appears you're muted.
Yes, I am unmuted.
Okay, are you
And-
wishing to, you wish to make testimony on calendar number 23-145?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Ms. Wilson, can you just re-administer the oath for Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Please.
I sure can. Mr. Smith, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you. Please state your name and your address as well.
My name is Brian Smith. Business address is 6955 Euclid Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, great. And we'll take the legal standard now, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board of Felons requesting a use variance from the requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. All right. Tell us what you'd like to do.
All right, well, good morning, and thank you for everyone being here on behalf of First Energy and the owner, George Family Enterprises. My name is Robert Johnston. I go by Bobby. I'm with Mann Parsons Gray Architects. First thing I want to bring to mention is we originally submitted a 12,000 gallon total tank. We are, based upon letters that we've received from the community, we have, as a part of this meeting, we've submitted a letter, and we submitted this to Brittany, and she has documented them. I want to just formally give that information to you.
Okay, this is what I have.
You might have it already.
Okay, I'm just gonna,
Sure thing.
have copies, so I'm gonna pass that along.
So we are now going to be proposing a total 10,000 gallon tank
Okay, instead of 12.
instead of 12, yes. And this tank is going to be, it's a combined tank. It's a 7,000 gallon gasoline and 3,000 gallon diesel. It is a combined tank. I don't want to get into the minutia of the tank, but it is the best of the best that can be purchased. It is surrounded by 2 walls. One is concrete, one is steel. It is ballistic resistant. And the tank itself, being concrete, is designed to withstand combustible explosives. Now, there were a letter that was submitted to us and or we submitted another letter, sorry, regards to Midtown Cleveland, who we've been working with throughout this process. They submitted some questions, which I also submitted a letter on Friday, and we responded to those. I want to run through those quickly, those questions, just so everybody's on the same page with them. I don't know who has heard them, our responses, because it was submitted on Friday. So just want to run through them real quick. That's all right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first question, what does your monitoring and maintenance plan look like? The above ground stationary tank, or the AST as we call it, will have monthly visual documented inspections, with one of those inspections being a more extensive annual inspection. The inspection criteria incorporate the Steel Tank Institute's SP001 standard inspection requirements. More extensive inspections conducted by a certified inspector are performed in accordance with the Steel Tank Institute's SP001 standard or state requirements, whichever is more stringent. That is the first one. The second one, what safety procedures will you have in place? The tank is within a gated area of the property, which we can see on our site plans, and I will discuss those. It is located almost directly in the middle of the site. It is surrounded by concrete bollards to ensure nothing can crash into the tank. The tank itself is a double-walled steel and concrete, as I mentioned, ballistic rated, and it is the top-of-the-line tank that can be purchased. It's a fire guard tank. There isn't anything with higher standards. The site is monitored 24/7, and only employees can fill the tank with credentials when scanned, and the tank will turn off after 7 minutes of filling. It's automatic. It's not required per code. This is something that First Energy does on all of their sites. Because some of these trucks that we're filling up are very large, and it takes some time to fill up the tank. That's question 2. Question 3, what are your mitigation plans if there were to be an incident such as fire, explosion, or a leak? The tank is rated to avoid fire and/or explosions, and the location at the center of the site is the best location to contain any incidents. Every FirstEnergy location has a robust disaster and recovery plan covering everything from natural disasters to sabotage. For obvious reasons, details of these plans cannot be shared with the public. That was question 3. So question 4, what steps will be taken to minimize and clean up spills? In addition to the safety procedures mentioned above, FirstEnergy contracts with an environmental hazard remediation company that is available 24/7. How often will there be fuel deliveries and what time of day does that take place? Fuel deliveries will occur approximately twice a month during regular business hours, and that I believe is 8 to 4. And then the final question. Are you proposing additional screening around the property so the tank is not visible from the street? And I don't, is it possible to pull up a site plan, please? See 1.1. Back one sheet, thank you. Yes. So if you're looking on the screen, I just want to run by this. So north is Chester, south is Euclid. So the north along Chester Avenue is fully screened with large bushes. I'll call it arborvitae and pine trees. The east has a non-important building that you can see on our site plan, screening the tank. The south has the existing building along the entire perimeter. And along the west, there is part of the building and there's a fence line along there. The tank is approximately 180 feet away, but FirstEnergy, I'm speaking on behalf of FirstEnergy right now, is open to adding additional landscape and buffering on the west side of the property. It's hard to see, but there is, this is really the one document where I took a Google Street View, and you can see where the tank approximately will be about 180 feet in red. And we're talking, we can add some additional screening there if that's one of the concerns. We're certainly open to that discussion. The other document I provided is a enlargement of the site plan at the bottom right corner. And I just want to make sure everybody on who is remote can see that. And you can have this set.
So the Chester perimeter is the one that you said was arborvitae?
Arborvitae and pine trees, yes. It's
Yeah.
completely blocked. You cannot see it from the street.
Okay.
And again, this, in that site plan that is it is the last document in the file that I presented. Just did a blow up.
Right, I got
Okay,
that.
perfect.
That's what I'm looking
So that black dot towards the center is where the tank that is being proposed
for. Okay.
is going to be. So I give a little history on this project. Our office was engaged in 2019 by FirstEnergy. We had 2 meetings with the fire department, one in 2019 and one in 2020, to discuss the overall location and specifically the tank itself being adjacent to that building that it's next to. We meet all of the code requirements from the fire code, the building code. The only thing that we are here today is presenting the tank not being within the zoning access for it. So and I also want to make it very clear that the overall tank size being reduced to a 10,000 gallon. We're still saying it's only 7,000 gallons gasoline, 3,000 gallons diesel. So the way that we were interpreting the code being written, gasoline was the concern. So I just want to make it clear that the 7,000 gasoline is what will be in this tank that we're proposing. And it looks like one giant tank, but in reality it's constructed 2 separate tanks built into one vessel, just from an economic standpoint.
What's the use going to be for this fuel?
So right now, FirstEnergy, they have line trucks and maintenance vehicles that fill up around town. And the line trucks cannot get into any local
Regular
gas station. Yes, thank you. So they actually have to go to an outside, say there's an emergency. We had one, as everybody's aware, a few months ago. And those fuel line trucks, when they're coming in to respond and they need to fuel up, they actually have to go out to another service site, say such as Mayfield or Strongsville, or Brooklyn, where they can't come back to, if they're trying to do work in Midtown area, they have to leave and come back. So that's just taking more time for that response crew to do their job and get power back up in an emergency.
And you said they're gonna be filled 2 times a month between the hours of 8 and 4. Do you know, is there a set delivery date at those 2 times a
No,
month?
these tanks cannot be run empty. Normally, the general rule is about half to a quarter. Then they trigger refill because they don't want to be any lower than that because as soon there could be an emergency that they want to make sure that they have the fuel in there. So on average, based upon the numerous tanks that we've worked on, some in the city of Cleveland, two fills a month is about average.
And it just triggers when it's needed?
Yes, there's an automatic fill, and then it makes a call to the local company, and then First Energy
So
approves the.
no actual set date, it's triggered by that
No,
refill?
I'm sure First Energy could work with someone to, if that is a concern, we're certainly open to discussing it.
Okay. And you mentioned emergencies, so
Yes.
oftentimes in emergencies, we get out-of-town trucks coming in, or First Energy will send theirs somewhere else.
Yes.
So, do you anticipate that in an emergency situation, we might have out-of-town, out-of-state crews coming in and fueling at that?
I can't speak to the specifics on that, but I do know First Energy has a robust network that if they are low on manpower, for instance, they do have contracts with other entities to come in and assist. Terry, if you have anything further to jump in on that one.
Yes, so we, from our sisters companies and contractors, typically contractors will refuel at their own gas station wherever they can, but our sister companies, part of the First Energy network, we would want them to refill at our service center locations because it's much safer than trying to navigate through regular residential gas station parking lots and traverse through the streets there.
Right.
So does that answer your question?
It does, yeah, I just was, sort of running through a scenario that would be worst case if something
So,
sort of catastrophic happened.
Sure. So obviously this is for CEI. This is their entity. First Energy as a whole owns several sister companies. So Toledo Edison may need to come in.
Right.
Their trucks may come in, but they have the credentials to get into the site and to use the fuel.
Okay, right. All right. Do you have any other testimony you'd like to make?
No, I think Bobby did a great job.
Okay, great. Anyone else from the project team want to speak? All right. Charlotte?
Yes, I live directly across the street on the north side, Chester. My home is a residential area. That whole area is residential. I am not comfortable with a tank being that close to my residence. They are correct. They do have trees lined up, but anybody can climb the fence. And that's what's there. And from our meeting before this, the bottom line is they're gonna save money because they'll be supplying their own vehicle with their own gas. So that's gonna make them, they'll be more profitable because they'll be using their own gas. They don't have to go out. So I don't think that those reasons are the right reasons to put something in a residential area. If it was an industrial area, I have no problem, because I wouldn't be here. But I have neighbors, we all live over there. We don't want a gas tanker, whether it's 10,000 or 8,000. We don't want it. And like I said, I have to live there. If there's an explosion or whatever, they say it won't happen, but it could happen. You don't ever know. And then I'm directly right across from it, directly. And that's my home.
Understood.
And I don't want it. I want to feel comfortable where I live. I have enough problems with other outside elements. but I want to feel safe. And if there's something that I can stop, as it compares to my safety, as it relates to my safety, that's what I want to do. And that's why I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Any other residents or anyone else? All right.
Yes, I'd like to comment.
Yes, is that Brian? Mr. Smith, go ahead.
Hi, thank you. Hey, I'm Brian Smith. I'm the owner of the True by Hilton Hotel. I'm immediately to the west of this site. We, along with the others, are opposed to this. And basically what I'm just going to do for a minute is challenge the premise. For some reason, this tank has to be above ground because line trucks can't get into gas stations. Gas stations don't have tanks above the ground. Tanks go in the ground. That's where they go. When we built the True by Hilton with an emergency generator, it was not an option for that tank to go above the ground. It had to go in the ground. So really, I just challenge this premise that, you know, there's no other way to do this. There absolutely is another way to do it. I appreciate the size, you know, 10,000, 12,000, either one of those. But every single gas station has tanks underneath the ground. You can't point to one in the city of Cleveland, and they're large tanks. You can't point to a Costco that has tanks above the ground. You can't. Nobody else has a tank above the ground. And secondly, First Energy is very, very good at putting things underground. That's what they do. They put things underground. They put huge 33 kV duct banks underground. And it's claimed that this is a hardship. This is not an industrial area. There is so much effort that has gone into this neighborhood to build the right things in the right places. 4 or 5 years ago, we constructed True by Hilton. Dunham Tavern has the whole agreement with Cleveland Foundation. Cleveland Foundation has plans that are there. I just challenge the premise. I wouldn't object to a tank being in the ground any more than I would object to a gas station being on Chester Avenue. Thank you. But I do definitely oppose an above ground installation of a $10,000 gallon fuel storage tank. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Councilwoman, do you want to wait to make statement until after our board has asked questions?
Sure, I'll wait till after you all. Go right ahead.
Okay. All right. To the board, questions or comments?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Brown.
I would be interested in hearing from the architect or First Energy representative why the tank cannot be underground.
Agreed. That would have been my question as well.
All right. So Ms. Wilson and Ms. Brown both asking that question.
Sure. Little history on this site as well. Some may recall that this was a formal bus terminal that had underground tanks originally on the site. In 2018, 2019, approximately around that time, those underground tanks were removed and remediated. Underground, historically, yeah, it looks good. It's not good for the environment. And that is something that First Energy has an entire team dedicated to making sure that remediation never has to happen. Underground tanks are something that First Energy does not want to have to do. We go in there on a lot of projects. They already have underground tanks. They want to remove them because of the remediation problems, because of the types of tanks that go underground. They don't last forever, and there will become a problem. The above ground tank, you can see whatever problem that may happen. These tanks, again, they're the best. I'm not aware of any problem ever. We've done well over 50 of these tanks for First Energy. The above ground tank is the better way to go from an environmental standpoint and from just an overall use. Terry, this is kind of outside my realm on answering here. Is there anything else you want to? jump in
Yes.
here?
So First Energy is taking the approach that we like to be able to see anything before, as it happens, so we could take care of things right away. When it's underground, we don't have that ability. There are a lot of advantages to having daily, regular visuals of the actual tank. And, when it's underground, there are some items there.
Okay. Would you like to respond to Ms. Perkins' concerns about the residents across the street and what you might be able to do to make the area more secure?
Certainly. I know you're aware of this fully. The distance between there, it meets code. It's actually triple the code requirement. It sounds like reducing the size of the tank further is something that you.
I
not
don't want an
open to.
above tank over there at all.
So, and I appreciate the input. You did make mention of profitability for First Energy. Yes, they're coming here to fill up their tank versus having to go to gas stations. But the critical thing that First Energy cares more about is the safety of their employees and the safety of making sure that they can respond accordingly to some sort of event disaster. This would allow them to do that in a better, more timely manner than having to go to other places to fill up because they cannot use the local gas stations.
And this tank is specific to the larger trucks.
It will, there's nothing around that will prevent the larger trucks from getting in and approaching.
And so the trucks that we'll be filling are just that category of truck, not the smaller ones.
So they will be mine trucks and any service trucks that First Energy has.
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Yes.
We have Kim Scott, the neighborhood planner for the area, who's going to be representing the city planning for this case.
Great.
She's on.
Okay. Councilwoman, were there, excuse me, one second. Any other questions or comments from the board?
I have a question, Madam Chair, Ms. Roca. I
Thank
would
you.
like the appellant to answer, are underground storage tanks more costly than above ground storage tanks?
I can't speak to that. I could say the process of getting into them and doing the work for it, because you have to now go to several other entities. So it's a time thing as well as a actually getting it into the ground. So
I'm not familiar with the process.
I'm sorry, I'm an architect, not the contractor, so can't answer that directly. We can certainly get back to you though.
Okay. Anything else, Ms. Roca?
No, that's it.
Okay. Anything else from the board? Okay. Councilman House, would you like to wait until we have city planning speak before you make your comments?
That will be fine. City planning can speak and then I'll go.
Okay. We'll hear from Kim Scott now from city planning. And Kim, I believe you weren't present for the oath. Is that correct?
We usually don't swear in.
This is Kim Scott, City Planning. I was present for the oath. I don't know that we typically do that as part of the staff for the City of Cleveland, but I am willing.
Okay.
Necessary.
Let's just do it really quickly because typically we do have city planning. The council people swear in, so city planning will swear in.
Sure.
Okay. I will go ahead and administer the oath. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please reply with "I do," your name and your address.
I do. Kim Scott, 601 Lakeside Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, room 501.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. You can go ahead with your comments now.
Sure. And I apologize because I'm trying to get an email up that was correspondence between myself and the project team. This this proposal really does not, it's not consistent with the citywide plan as well as the current zoning. There was a great deal of change that took place in 2006 as the MMUD district was adopted, and the use it's just inconsistent. And so you see, city planning, hold on, I'm sorry, I'm looking through an email. Fuel storage tanks are first permitted in semi-industry zoning, and the appellant or the development team was asked what the rationale was situating this type of storage in this location. There are other options for the appellant to utilize the property outside of fuel storage. And overall, with the development that's taking place near and around, and as it has been pointed out, the residential fabric of the area, it's just inconsistent with for this particular use. So city planning in general is not supportive of this use.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. Yes.
I have several letters too.
Okay, we have some correspondence that Ms. Kukla.
We have 5 letters from, seems to be mostly people on Simpson Court. And also I have a letter from a person, her name is Melissa Williams. She says that she's a resident of Midtown and she loves it here. She stated that she attended the community meeting on, I don't see the date here, sorry. In any event, she attended the community meeting. She stated the representatives of the illuminating company did acknowledge that one of the reasons they wanted to put it in was to buy fuel at a cheaper bulk rate instead of using the local gas stations. They complained that the gas stations were not conducive to blind spots or the size of the vehicles. And she stated that they should upgrade their vehicle. I think she means that they should upgrade their vehicle fleet to hybrid electric. At very least, the local stations can only help the community. She stated that she was also made aware the illuminating company is leasing the property where they want to put this tank. It's not clear to me who owns it, the county or Tony George. Aside from that, I know that my neighbors and I in Midtown do not want this tank installed for a plethora of reasons. Environmental impact, health impact, danger to lives if there is a fire explosion in such a densely populated areas, could affect home values, no cognizant exit strategy for the neighborhood should a fire explosion occur. Cleveland is trying to make a turnaround and become a greener, more sustainable, walkable city. No environmental impact study was done that she's aware of. And she asked who is responsible for cleanup if there is a fire or spill. Above ground tanks are susceptible to domestic terrorism, extreme environmental weather, cell phones, bullets, flooding. That is it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, anything else?
No, that'll do it. That's all we have.
Okay, excellent.
Oh, I'm sorry, Midtown. We do have a letter from Midtown. Ashley Shaw, the executive director. She's writing to share community concerns regarding the proposal to install 10,000 gallon gas storage tank. They held a community meeting on September 6th, during which the neighbors in the community raised numerous concerns regarding the safety of the presence of the tanks. The site is located 200 feet of several adjacent residential properties, including a multifamily apartment building directly east of the site gas tank. Neighbors raised concerns about safety in the case of a natural disaster, fire explosion, etc. The MMUD zoning district intends for a mix of commercial, residential, retail, and light industrial uses within the district, but does not permit gas supply or distribution. Given the constraints of the site and the neighboring uses, we are not able to express support for the requested proposal. While the investment in the neighborhood is appreciated and the standard for safety is high, the presence of the gas station so close to residential neighbors does not include any effort to offset impacts to health, wellness, quality of life for neighbors, which could include fencing, landscaping, buffer, artwork, public amenity that supports the neighborhood. And again, that's Ashley Shaw, Executive Director of Midtown. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right, Councilman House, I believe that brings us to you, ma'am.
Okay. Hopefully my video was up because I can't see myself. Good morning, everyone.
We can see you.
You can't?
We can see you, yes.
Oh, you can't? Okay, yeah, because I'm, anyway, on the side of the road. But good morning. So there were a couple of things that I just want to get a point of clarification. So the presentation that was given here at the Board of Zoning meetings, was this presentation given at the September 6th presentation? Community meeting?
I was not at the September 6th meeting, so my portion probably not.
Okay, that was the architect speaking? So he said he was not present at that meeting, so his portion of the presentation was probably not made at that meeting.
Okay, so that's part of the thing, but that's pretty irrelevant. I think you can hear from the tenure of a variety of residents, stakeholders, business owners, that this is not something that is conducive in our Ward 7 community. I know, and listening to the conversation, it has been indicated that, I guess, I don't know if it was First Energy or the contract team has done 50 of these. And I guess my question is, have any of these 50s been so closely directly embedded within community, like a community with residents? That's the question.
City of Cleveland, we've done Mayfield Village, that was in 2010. In Brooklyn, well, I guess that's not, so this was CEI projects. So Brooklyn in 2013 and Strongsville in 2013. All of those, I don't think Mayfield Village. Strongsville had residents within 200 feet. The actual code states that 75 feet is the closest we could be to adjacent residential. Property line is only 25 feet. So we meet all of these or exceed all of them. And then we've done numerous in the state of Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, New Jersey, and
okay.
Sorry,
so again, I know saying places, but actually saying them. So if you actually could provide the actual list, whether it's the Board of Zoning, so people can actually investigate what it actually looks like. And then I think there's something to be said, just because something is written, and I understand about rules and according to standards and things of that nature, I will always question in what year and time did the standard come to fruition to be, which may not be conducive for 2023 moving forward. So that is always something to consider when we're having conversations. But with that being said, and listening to the rationale for why this request is being made through First Energy, I am standing in solidarity with residents and community members. Absolutely do not want this here in Ward 7. It's not like this is the only option. This is just one that may be conducive for First Energy priorities, but this is absolutely not in alignment with Ward 7 priorities. And we have listed off the many reasons. If it is as a reasoning for emergency efforts, Cleveland is a city that is pretty well with streets and things of that nature where you can get to many places within 15 minutes, 10 minutes. And so I think for the project team, the construction team, they need to absolutely go back to the drawing board to find a place that is much more conducive, where they can bring whatever priorities that company has to fruition. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Councilwoman. All right, we'll give you an opportunity to just respond to anything
Sure.
or we'll move forward.
I guess we're not trying to change the use of this facility. It's still going to stay as a First Energy operation. We're talking about a convenience or an amenity that's being added to the site so First Energy can operate better. We're not trying to change a use at all. I just want to make that understood. I guess my question back to the board and the council is, is there a tank size that's acceptable, or is this simply, no, we don't want a tank? Because
I
we're
think
willing
that's the
to.
position. Yeah, I think that's the issue why it is the consensus people do not want a tank. And as you talked about, this is an amenity, not an absolute necessity, right? And so for the portfolio of properties and lease spaces that First Energy has for an amenity, and thinking for emergency or routine things, you all absolutely have the capacity to look at another location that is not so close to residential and commercial properties. That is the request, and I believe the First Energy team is astute enough to be able to find and work in community to do that.
Okay, thank you. Board, any questions or comments at this time? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, upon hearing the testimony from the appellant today, as well as this letters and testimony from neighborhood residents, the councilwoman, I move that we deny calendar number,
23-145.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Can I have a second then, please?
Madam Chair, Board Member Wilson here, and based on the testimony that we've heard today, I would second the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Ms. Coupon, would you like to call the roll, please?
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Fate?
Yes.
Calendar number 23-145 is denied. We'll ratify it next Monday and we will send the appellant a letter.
Thank you, gentlemen. You'll have a plan.
There isn't.
All right, we have Councilman Slife with us. So 23-159 you're here for, sir? All right. So Ms. Holzer, we'll go to calendar number 23-159.
Sure thing. Our next case is calendar number 23-159. This is at 3873 Rocky River Drive. George Management Corp. proposes to establish use as a barber shop school in a local retail district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. There's also a note that Planning Commission approval is required. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. So for all of those who are presenting information for this case, please raise your right hand. I will administer the oath and I will have you reply with I do, your name, and your address. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. Patrick Burke, business address 17134 Lorraine Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio.
Is it Rosemary Mudry? They have to unmute.
Rosemary, you appear to be muted. Is she on the
Yes,
phone?
Rosemary Mudry, West Park Cams Neighborhood Development, I do.
Thank you, Rosemary. And is that everyone for who's with us virtually? Okay, Councilman?
Charles Flight, City Council, 601 West Avenue.
Thank you.
I do.
Thank you. Did you want to come to the table and join us?
If you'd like.
Since you're the only person in person. All right. So Patrick, are you the spokesperson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Give me 1 second here, because we need to read history of the property. Next.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. 1985, it was changed to local retail business. In our records administration office, we found in 1935, permit was issued for a garage. 1963, a permit was issued to convert first floor to a beauty salon. 1975, a permit was issued for interior alterations to existing building for a convenient food store. We have 2 variances on file in calendar number 84-227. Variance was granted to maintain parking in the front setback area. Calendar number 95. In 1997, this board granted a variance to change use to a dental prosthetic laboratory. And at that time, it was contrary to the local retail business district. That's all that I have, Madam Chair, that's relevant. Thank you.
All right, and legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance from the requirements of the zoning code. To obtain use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in unnecessary hardship to go to the property, such that there will be no affirmative use to use the property without variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose of the intent of the zoning.
Great, thank you. Okay, Patrick, tell us what you'd like to do.
Thank you guys, everybody, for having me here. So I would like to propose to get the zoning changed so I can put in a barber college in this location. I'm born and raised in West Park. I went to OLA, St. Ed's, and I started my first business location up in Cams. Since then, I've grown to 11 different locations. I've been a national educator for a company for the last 5 years. I've been an educator and a licensed state instructor in the state of Ohio for several years as well. I have several businesses in Cam's Corner, including a barbershop, a salon, a dog grooming business. Again, born and raised in West Park. This has been my dream. I've been working towards this for about 6-7 years. I finally narrowed down the perfect location for what I was looking to do. And so I'm asking you guys for requesting a zoning change so I can operate a barber college out of this location.
So technically, you're not getting a zoning change, you're getting a zoning variance, so.
Yeah, yes, ma'am, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Just wanted to make that clear for you. All right.
Yes.
Do you want to make comment last?
Sure.
Firstly?
Yeah, I'll let you continue.
Okay, all right. Rosemary, do you want to make a statement?
Sure, this is Rosemary Mudry from West Park Cams Neighborhood Development. We are in support of this project. I think it's a great location for a barber college. While local retail does not allow it, I think there's many other reasons that this is a good fit, including the location next to public transit, which allows for folks who might not have access to vehicles to attend the college. There's also parking on site, so I don't think there will be any broader issues around traffic in the neighborhood. And I think it generally, by bringing students and others to this location, supports the other businesses in the area with more folks during the day to patronize businesses and other amenities.
Great, thank you. Do you have any correspondence?
I do. I have 2 letters. One from the owner of PJ McIntyre's Irish Pub. He states, "It is with great pleasure that I support Patrick Burke and West Park Barbershop in taking over the vacant property located at this address." He says that he's known him for 30 years and he's always displayed a high degree of integrity, responsibility, and ambition. He is definitely a leader rather than a follower. He is a most dependable team player in the West Park neighborhood and always helped with called upon. His good judgment and mature outlook ensure a logical and practical approach to his endeavors and that of many others. Filling the vacant space with a barber college is a great idea and continue to bring life to the area and give others a chance to succeed. He says that Patrick will continue to be an asset to the West Park area, a neighborhood we both take pride in as well as being invested in. And that was Patrick Campbell from PJ McIntyre's. And this second letter is from West Park Station. Jason Salupo, owner-operator, states that is a very close neighbor to the property who'd like to voice his support for the purchase of the building with the intent to open a barber's college. States that Mr. Burke is the owner of 2 businesses in the neighborhood in which he grew up, and that all are assets to the community. He has been an integral part from the beginning in the revitalization of this historic neighborhood. And bringing a barbershop college not only creates even more jobs, but creates more marketing, public relations, and clientele for the existing businesses, such as theirs and so many others. At the very base level, Mr. Burke occupying this building will also help show that this neighborhood is still thriving, as he has already shown that in spaces that he currently rents. This was a vacant building that is at the very base of the neighborhood when visitors first arrived at Cam's Corner, driving north from the airport. Having a reputable business owner like Mr. Burke vested in the area, taking care of the outside of the building, will give visitors and neighbors security that this area of Cleveland is still strong. And again, that's Jason Salupo, owner and operator of West Park Station. That's all that we have. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Okay, Mr. Burke, let's get down to the specifics, please. What are going to be your hours of operation?
Our hours of operation would be Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 6, 5, and then Saturday, like 9 to 4, roughly. We haven't narrowed down the exact hours, but that's a general idea. It'll be during, normal working hours.
Okay, so to whomever is crafting the motion on this, we want the hours to be as inclusive as possible since he's not nailed them down completely yet. Mr. Burke, what's your student capacity?
Student capacity will be 20.
Okay. And what's your parking situation as it stands now? How many spots do you have?
There's 10 in front of my location. The parking lot does have extra parking. I'm not sure if that's the space next door, but there's enough parking up front, as well as, like Ms. Mudry announced, that it is on public transportation lines, which was kind of important for me for the schooling. So there's access to get there through public transportation.
Where is the RTA stop in relation? Or are you close? You're not close to a rapid station, are you? There?
Yes, I believe, depending on who you ask, I think it is walkable. The 150th rapid station is probably, I'm kind of guessing, but maybe 3 miles away. So that is walkable. But the bus lines from Rocky River Drive stop right in front of the location. And then Lorraine Avenue is about 500 feet north of the location, and there's stops there.
Okay, all right. All right. So you intend to be at the 20 student capacity during all the business hours?
Maybe not necessarily to start. That's our ability to take on. But in the beginning, while we're working through accreditations, I feel like maybe it'd be half that number.
Okay. All right. Rosemary, do you have a comment there?
I just wanted to jump in and say, in addition to the parking spaces on his property, there's also a municipally owned parking lot that's open to all of the businesses and all the patrons directly behind his property. So that has hundreds more spaces as well. And I would really also emphasize strongly that this is a very well-connected transit line. Folks can take the RTA Red Line to either the West Park stop or the 150th stop, and they can take the 22 bus from there, which runs approximately every 10 to 15 minutes during the day. So this is a location that we feel strongly needs more transit, needs more businesses that can play off of those transit connections. So, I think he's in a very strong position from a parking standpoint and a connectivity standpoint.
Yes, I would agree with you. Having relied on public transit for over a decade as an advocate, I was running the route myself mentally. So I think he's easily accessible. So, all right, Councilman Slade.
Thank you, and really repeating what's already been said very enthusiastically in support of the project. Mr. Burks has been really one of our business leaders and has been speaking for a number of years of trying to find a location, specifically in Camps Corners. The West Park Barber brand has really grown, and there's the ones in North Olmsted and Avon Lake, but obviously this is the flagship, so we want to have this here. I think the one thing that's worth mentioning is that yes, it's in a local retail district, but the building isn't really constructed for local retail. It hasn't operated as local retail. It had variances for medical uses. So
Right.
there's precedent for recognizing that this building is not really primed for a local retail business in the same way that a storefront along Lorraine, just a couple feet away from this would be. So all that being said, with the transit, the ample parking on site and off site, I think it's really a slam dunk.
Great. Board, any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion. Oh, would you like to weigh in?
Thank you.
I'm so used to Mr. Ruling sitting there that, he would have piped in by now. So.
It's every day, presenting city planning. Just want to agree with everything I've said. This is a great reuse for the building. There's adequate parking and we had a public parking lot right next door to the lot. Great to hear the intentionality for, the awareness of the nearby bus lines. It's good to hear we need support of the bus lines. Just agree with what was said and we recommend approval.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, board, with that final comment then from city planning, any questions or comments? And again, if you have none, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, this is board member. Then I would move to approve calendar number 23-159 based on the testimony we've heard today.
Excellent. Could I have a second, please?
Member Brown, I second.
Thank you very much. Ms. Hooper?
Thank you. Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Bay?
Yes.
Calendar number 23-159 is granted. It'll be ratified next week. We will send the appellant the letter, but we'd also like to tell the appellant that he can contact our office next Wednesday to find out the status and work with us on getting to the next steps.
Okay, good luck to you, Mr. Work.
Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it. I hope everybody has a great day.
You've got a lot of support, so it should go well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, any other council people?
They were in previously, but they had all left. We do have a message of support in the chat from Council President Griffin for this case right here at the top of the docket, 23-142.
Okay, all right. So we'll loop back to the top of the agenda, Ms. Holzer, and we'll go with calendar number 23-142.
Okay. Our next case is calendar number 23-142. This is at 6901 Morgan Avenue. Thornton Development Group owner proposes to install approximately 1,212 linear feet of 10-foot high security fencing in an actual front yard, an actual interior side yard, in a semi-industry zoning district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. I'll also note that this case was postponed from September 11th due to a lack of quorum. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holt. For everyone who is going to give testimony in this case, I will have you raise your right hand. After I administer the oath, please reply with "I do," your name and your address. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. Marilyn Moshinsky, Interim Director, Slavic Village Development, 5620 Broadway Avenue.
Marilyn, I'm sorry, could you spell your last name for me, please?
It's Mosinski.
Great, thank you.
I do. Michelle Affronti, Amaroq, 550 South Assembly Street, Columbia, South Carolina, 29201.
And Michelle, your last name again?
Affronti, Affronti.
Thank you.
I do. Michael Stauffer, Federal Equipment Company, 8200 Bessemer Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44127.
All right. Anyone else? Anyone in the room for this case? No. Okay. All right. Ms. Wilson, looks like that's it.
Okay.
Okay. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1925, a permit was issued to erect a one-story warehouse. In 1936, a permit was issued to erect an addition, also known as an additional factory. Excuse me. In 1942, a permit was issued for an addition to the property. 1941, an addition to the property for metal welding was issued to the address. 1945, an addition to what was known as Blant Office was made to the property. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board of Health is requesting an area variance from the fencing requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Great, thank you. All right, who's going to be the spokesperson?
I am, thank you.
And that would be
Michelle Affronti from Amaroq.
Okay, great. Just a reminder to everyone, we do have a court reporter, and she's working virtually. So that's why I ask you to spell your name sometimes, and also before you speak, please state your name so that she knows who's talking. So go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. Thank you for allowing us to speak today. We are looking for a variance to install a 10-foot high security fence behind the existing perimeter fence at this property. I think everyone here is familiar with our product. We've spoken before. We have 3 other sites in the Slavic Village area. And we are a security company to provide security so that our customers can protect themselves from theft and loss. The fence does need to be taller than the existing security fence, in order to stop people from scaling the perimeter fence and then just simply jumping over our system. With the height difference with our system taller than the perimeter fence, it makes it much more difficult for someone to scale that existing perimeter fence and get over and into the site and do whatever kind of criminal activity they're looking to do.
All right. Michael, did you have a statement you wanted to make?
I didn't have anything prepared, but after sitting through those other cases or whatever, I kind of figured I would just say a couple of words. We at Federal Equipment are now in a mode of continuous improvement. So we're putting roofs on buildings, we're putting proper drainage on buildings, we're putting or fixing fences, we're doing whatever we can to improve the buildings and the areas nearby. This building is used for storage mainly. We don't have any manufacturing going on in there. But based on the track record, these buildings out here are subjected to a lot of hits by people very interested in getting into whatever they can get. We've lost, I can't even, well, I don't even know if I can put a number on how much wiring we've lost in buildings in this area. But hundreds and hundreds of feet of 1/0, 2/0, 3/0 cable that powers up the buildings. So, we want to do the right thing. We want to make the place safe. We don't want anybody hurt. But at the same time, we want to keep our equipment and our property secured. I think that's the only thing I can say.
All right, thank you. Marilyn from the CDC.
Thank you. This is Marilyn Moshinsky, Slavic Village Development. We've been familiar with the product. This is probably the second one that I've had to work with the company. The other one that we went through a variance was at 6050 Truscott, which is just around the corner from here. This is a highly industrial area. We understand the voltage isn't at all what it's going to be. In fact, the guys at 6050 Truscott pretty much just as kind of a deterrent, and really have had no problems when I called over there to ask how things were going for him. I'm not couldn't hear because my first day as interim director here, folks.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Terry. A little crazy here, so I'm like dealing with craziness that I never had to deal with before. But I do know Council President Griffin also supports it. We support it. It's a good product. It's nothing that's going to cause any problems for kids throwing stuff over there. It's just a deterrent, which I think will work fine. So we both are supportive of this.
Okay, great. Ms. Affronte, so just describe the fence for us. Is this typical chain link? We're not going to have any barbed wire or razor wire at the top. What's the setback from the sidewalk or the street?
So our system is installed directly behind the perimeter fence that's already on the property. We install our system approximately 4 to 8 inches inside the perimeter fence. It's not something that anyone with the chain link fence there, no one can get their hand through the fence to touch it. If they do touch it, it is a safe system. It's medically safe. It's been tested. We have the medical papers on it, so to speak. And it's also done to the IEC standards. And it just goes right in behind that existing perimeter fence. It's 20 12.5 steel gauge wires. It's very hard to see when you walk by. We do have signs on it. We post those signs warning people not to touch it. Again, it is a deterrent. It is not meant to harm anyone. Normally, when we install these in facilities around the United States, we have more than 6,000 systems. We protect numerous large corporations with our system. Normally, the crime rate drops approximately 99% or more. It usually just stops it. It's a deterrent. Nobody, most people don't want to take that chance on touching it, even though, like I said, it's more of a deterrent. It is unpleasant. It's not something we're going to advertise that it's just unpleasant. You want to stop that crime in its tracks. And like I said, we've installed these throughout the United States, more than 6,000 sites. I'll be happy to try to answer any other questions that you may have on it.
I see that Board Member Brown has her hand up, so I'm sure she has a question.
I do. Thank you, Madam Chair. And this is to Ms. Affronte. I'm always concerned about vegetation growth between the perimeter fence and the security fence, and who's responsible for what can become very unsightly. So if someone can address that, I would appreciate it.
I can address that, Michael Stauffer. We actually take pride in the area surrounding the buildings, and we have a crew that, especially during summertime growing season, we have a crew that goes out and cuts the grasses, trims the grasses. If there's areas that there really shouldn't be any vegetation, we have a company come in and take care of that. I can't remember the company's name off the top of my head, but anywhere that's it's cracks in concrete or what have you, we have them take care of that. If you would, I guess if you would have seen this building prior to us moving ahead with fixing the fence and taking care of things, you would see that it's in much better condition and much more appealing than it's ever been, especially with getting the new roof and getting the things going. But we take care of that.
Thank you, Mr. Stauffer.
Thank
Any
you
other
very
questions?
much.
Yes. You read my mind, Ms. Brown, so that was going to be my question as well. So thanks for beating me to it. So any other questions from the board? All right. City planning?
Hi, Victor Day, representing city planning. Yeah, we agree with this. So it's already said, as was mentioned before, Council President Griffin has his support, as well as the local community development corporation. And then, that was another concern that we were also thinking about, just the spacing in between these two fences, one for upkeep, and then also just, making sure like a little kid doesn't stick their hand through and might get electrocuted. And I think that was already answered, so we would recommend approval.
All right. Do you have that, do you have correspondence to read in?
No, Madam Chair, but could the appellant state again the distance between the two fences? I don't have that in my notes, I'm sorry.
Mr. Fronte, just confirm, I have 4 to 8 inches between the two fences, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. It's 4 to 8 inches behind the existing perimeter fence. It's an area you can get in behind. You can get through it if you need. No one would get stuck in there by any means.
Okay.
And I also wanted to mention another 2 things, if I could, please. Mr. Stauffer takes very good care of his own vegetation, but there are certain sites that we also take care of the vegetation for our customers. We actually come out and we have a service that we can provide them so that it doesn't get grown up.
Okay,
so if that's
great.
ever a concern, we also offer that.
All right,
Thank
you. Xavier, do you want to read a portion or of that email from Councilman
Oh,
Griffin.
from it. So, sorry,
It's okay.
So yeah, Council President Griffin actually typed it into the chat before he left, in this meeting.
Okay.
So yeah, it just says, at 9:46 a.m. this morning, this is, Council President Griffin, he says, I support the project on Morgan Ave. I may have to jump off, and so he already left.
Okay. So we have Councilman Griffin's support, just to make sure that's on the record. Okay, anything else? Any other questions or comments, board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, Member Brown, I move in support of the variance to allow the 10-foot-high security fence on calendar 23-142 following presentation from the vendor, the owner, and support from the councilman.
Thank you. Could I have a second, please?
Board Member Holzer, I second.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. Ms. Kuzma?
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Biggs?
Yes.
Calendar number 23-142 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We will send the appellants a letter. I'd like to state to the appellant that you can, feel free to contact our office next Wednesday and we can verbally give you the next steps.
Would you like briefly?
Thank you.
Yes.
I have a request for a brief break. We have a very full agenda today as we're piggybacking 2 meetings together today. So we'll be back very shortly. I had a brutal workout with my trainer and now I'm so sore.
So tired.
Xavier, do we have everyone back?
Yes, I see. Ms. Hamilton, Ms. Olson.
Madam Chair, Board Member Wilson, I will have to recuse myself from calendar number 23143.
I thought that one was postponed.
Yes, I believe it is.
It is? Okay, I saw it on the screen.
You're good, Ms. Wilson. 23-143 is going to November 21st.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great.
Then the other one was 144, right?
Correct.
That was also postponed?
Correct.
Oh. So make sure you-
And 144 goes to November 7th. Okay. Ms. Holster, you ready?
My understanding is that we're going to calendar number 23-158.
Correct.
All right.
Right.
I'll wait till
Xavier's
it's
going to
over.
get to that. I just wanted to make sure you were
I'm
poised to
here.
start. All
Not a
right.
problem.
All right. So there we go.
Our next case is calendar number 23-158. This is at 3093 West 117th Street. AJH Acquisitions proposes to establish use as a hemp processing facility for CBD products in a C1 general retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
That's good.
Everyone who is going to give testimony in this matter, reply with "I do," your name and your address. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Can you state your name and your address, please?
Wael Hassan. The address is 3093 West 117th Street, Cleveland, Ohio 44111.
Okay, anyone else speaking on this matter?
We have someone in person. Is there anyone else online?
Yes, I'm online. Do you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yes.
Is that Mr. Hassan again?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
It's just,
We already have your oath, sir. Is there anyone else online besides you that is swearing in?
no, there isn't.
Okay. Then we have a gentleman in person. Sir,
Yes, my name is Julian Hamilton.
it's the other hand.
Oh, sorry. Julian Hamilton, address 3254 West 90th Street, Cleveland, Ohio 44102.
Okay, you want to reply with "I do"?
I do.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, history of the property?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no changes in zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1947, a permit was issued to erect a car wash building. In 1959, a permit was issued for alterations to a car wash. 1964, a permit was issued for an addition to an office. Sorry, this was an additional building at that time stated as an office. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in more recent history. Thank you.
Okay. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board, appellant is requesting a use variance from the requirements of the zoning code. To obtain use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship, particular to property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning.
Great. Who's going to be the spokesperson for you?
Any questions you have, I'll ask. If I can't answer, you ask.
Okay.
I'll be the first one, yes.
All right. And Mr. Hamilton, you go ahead and tell us what you want to do.
Okay, yes, we are intend to do manufacturing, not to the open public. We just do to wholesale outlets. No selling on the property, just manufacturing. hemp-derived tinctures, soft gels, capsules, and smoke-likable vapes.
So wholesale only.
Yes.
And again, a list of your products?
Yes. Hemp-derived tinctures, soft gel capsules, and smokable light vapes. And ointments.
Okay, so derived from hemp, that is tinctures, soft capsules, light vapes, and ointments, so that everyone hears that
Soft
correctly.
gel capsules.
Soft gel capsules. I left out the gel part on the capsules, right, okay. So no public sales, just manufacturing only. How many people will you employ?
Starting off 2-3 people.
All right. And what will be your hours of operation?
Sure, so I can ask that.
Okay,
Normal hour operation, so from 10 to 6 or 9 to 6 at the latest.
Which days of the week?
Monday through Saturday.
Xavier, can you go back to aerial view? And maybe zoom in a little bit for me. I want to get a context for, there we go.
Xavier,
Trying to get,
BP next door. Across the street, we have Target.
It looks like that's likely where the Giant Eagle and Target are across the street.
yes, it's across the street. So it is now a car lot. So, and the
No,
only
the front parcel is a car lot. The back parcel is an empty building. That's a little over 3,000 square feet that we're seeking to
Okay.
convert to the manufacturing side.
So the bright white are the offices for the car lot. Aerial view, please, Xavier.
Yes.
Yeah, so that front, exactly. That front white.
And the light gray building is the building that you're looking to take possession of.
Correct,
Okay.
yeah.
What's your parking situation there, since most of that lot is car sale vehicles?
Yes, to the right side of that, where you see those like two, it's like a white, I think SUV and then like a red car next to it.
Yeah.
There's like about 4 or 5 spaces there that were designated, that will be designated to the building for
Okay.
employees.
All right. So 4 to 5 spaces for employee parking.
Yes, correct. And we're not
And-
we will not be open to the public for any retail. This is strictly manufacturing and wholesale.
Right, okay. Is access only through that road that runs parallel to the exit ramp?
No, there's access through the BP gas station.
Okay, off of 117th, right, that one that's right across the street from the Target entrance?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. That's it.
All right, so you've got access both ways.
Both
All
ways,
right.
correct.
Okay. Okay. All right, board, any questions or comments? Okay, do we have any correspondence, Ms. Kukla?
No, we have no letters or emails.
Nothing from the CDC, nothing from the council person?
Nope.
Okay. City planning?
Yeah, I'd just like to, sorry, thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like for the applicant to explain some of the manufacturing process as it's abutting these 4 or 5 homes just next to them. So I'm just kind of curious of what the manufacturing process is in case it's noisy or smelly for the nearby residents.
Mr. Hans, I can answer that for you.
Yeah, no, it will not be smelly. We're not dealing with any live like plant product or anything of that sort. We're more so it will not smell at all. And as far as the process itself, um, we're not using any like special machinery or anything. A lot of it is just dosing type machinery, very simple type machinery. So I hope that answers it. Yeah, nothing special here.
Why don't you walk us through a little bit from start to finish of how the manufacturing process goes? So you're from receipt, how are you receiving your raw product, and what goes into the process of turning it into these products that you're going to wholesale?
Yes. So yes, that is correct. So what we do is we do receive it in raw products in a finished type of material, and then what we do is we process that material into finished products such as tinctures, soft gel capsules, ointments, and that sort of thing. Um, so every product is different in the way that it is processed. Um, so I'm not sure. So as far as the tinctures, we just use like a coconut oil type base, and we're literally just infusing cannabinoids in it, such as hemp derived products, and it's just based on its dosing, and like I said, every product is different.
So what's your distribution process to the wholesalers?
Basically, we will send out a salesperson to a lot of the local distributors, and they would in turn take in samples to the distributors, and we would try to, gain business like that.
Okay. So are you going to be selling just in the adjacent area, or are you planning on going citywide, region-wide, statewide?
Yes, correct. So region-wide, statewide, we do plan on setting up a e-commerce also platform to where we can sell online as well.
Madam Chair, when you asked the question, I thought you were asking about, are you going to have trucks coming here, both delivering and distributing?
Right.
What's the access for them?
Yes, so on both sides of the building, we have a roll-up garage door. So there's access on both sides of the building for trucks, either on either or. In fact, there's access for the truck to pull into the building. We have like a 15-foot garage door, 15 or 16 foot on both sides of the building.
So do you ship using common carriers like UPS or FedEx, or?
Yes, correct. UPS and
Okay.
FedEx, correct.
So you're not going to have your own trucking system as part of
No, we will not. No.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from the board? Anything else from you, city planning?
So Xavier Bay, representing city planning. That's good to hear. The main concern I was just making sure that there's not going to be any heavy trucking going, up and down this small side street. I think it's called Belmont.
Yeah.
Just making sure that the process and things aren't too harmful for the nearby residents. It sounds like what the information you provided, it's not going to be too not going to be much traffic at all really coming in and out of this facility, not gonna be, loud noises or any disturbances to the nearby residents, so we recommend approval.
I do have one further question to the gentleman. With the access point coming through the BP station, do you have any kind of written agreement for essentially easement for use of that driveway, since I'm guessing that's on their property?
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's written or not, but yes, we have agreement.
Okay, is it written?
It's not.
Yes, I do have a written agreement between me and the neighboring directly from the owner of the property.
Okay, but what about the BP station?
No, the owner of the BP gas station. We
Okay.
own West 117. We own the property, the
Oh,
309.
you own the car lot as well?
Yes,
Do you?
yes, the car lot
All
as
right,
well.
okay.
Correct. Yeah.
So we're gonna ask you as a condition to submit that letter of agreement that you have with the BP station to our secretary.
No problem. Yes, we'll submit
Okay.
that today. Yes.
All right. All right, who's ever crafting the motion, that'll be a condition. And if I have no further questions or comments from the board, I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, Madam Chair, this is Member Brown, and I move approval of calendar 23-159, conditioned.
158, Ms. Brown.
Oh, thank you for the correction.
That's okay.
Calendar 123-158, conditioned on hours of operations Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and a letter submitted identifying and approving access between the adjacent property, which is currently a BP, and this property.
Could I have a second, please?
Madam Chair, Board Member Wilson, I would second the motion.
Thank you. Ms. Bourgeois?
Thank you. Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Bates?
Yes.
Calendar number 23-158 is granted conditionally. We will hold ratification until we receive that letter from BP. And once we receive that letter, we'll ratify it the following Monday and send the appellants a letter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
So much.
You're free to leave.
All right, thank you.
You're good.
Have a great day.
You too. All right. No council people, right?
Nope.
All right. Then we'll move on to 23-160, Ms. Holzer.
Sounds good. Our next case is calendar number 23-160. This is at 2050 Spring Road. Pleasurable Childcare proposes to establish use as a residential facility for 5 occupants in an A1 one-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. For everyone who will testify in this matter, I will administer the oath. Please raise your right hand. Reply with "I do," your name and your address. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are giving is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. You all can move front to the table. Pull up chairs. Okay. Ms. Wilson, do the person online, and then we're going to let the folks here in the room get resituated at the table.
Okay, that sounds good. If you're online and you wish to speak in this case, please raise your right hand. Reply with "I do," your name and your address.
I do. Charles Kenneckel, Brooklyn, CDC, 1474 Pearl Road.
Thank you.
I do.
Yep.
Frank Castro, 2041 Spring Road.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I do. Kathleen Moser,
Kathleen, can you?
601 Lakeside Avenue East.
Thank you. Anyone else on wish to speak in this matter? All right, let's move to those in the room. Those of you in the room, please raise your right hand, reply, I do, your name and your address.
I do. Christine Maggio, 2025 Spring Road, in Ohio, 44109. Christine Maggio, thank you. Maggio.
Thank you.
I do. Justin Maggio, 2025 Spring Road, Cleveland, Ohio, 44109.
Okay, ladies?
Patricia Alexander, 8770 Mavis Trail, Streetsboro, Ohio.
Okay.
I do. I Taft Alexander, 2032 Washington Drive, Richmond Heights, Ohio, 44143.
ITASSKA. Okay. Right. All right, I believe that's everyone. All right. To Charles from the CDC, could I get your last name again, please?
Yep, it's Kennick, Kennick.
Thank you so much. All right. History of the property?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that a permit was issued in 1916 to erect a dwelling. In 1920, there was an addition made to the property. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board of Health is requesting a use variance and an area variance from the minimum distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, the appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property. Without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, the appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Right, thank you. Who's going to be the spokesperson? Okay.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Itasca, with my mother. We're here seeking approval for occupancy to have an adult residential facility, a class 2. Brief history, my mother is a daycare owner for over 30 years. She actually has a daycare in Warrensville. A few years ago, she purchased her second one right here on 2046 Spring Road. She actually owns the whole lot there. I am a business owner. I'm a nurse. I've been a registered nurse for 20 years with a bachelor's degree. I have a nursing assistant school in Richmond Heights. My mom, Patricia, when she purchased the lot, she had 2 homes that she needed to seek or find what to do next with them. So we decided to take the classes. We did all our certifications. We even looked up the addresses in the area. We went on Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction. They give you the link. And we put our address up to see if we was in compliance of 1,000 square foot, which we was online. And then when we came down here, it was a different route that they went with zoning, and we were within that 1,000 feet.
Okay. All right. So you're going to have 5 occupants, is that the plan?
Yes, single bedrooms.
All right, so you have 5 bedrooms?
Yes.
So 1 person to a bedroom?
Yes.
And typically what we ask is gender, if you're going to be dispensing meds, what your plans are for the people, all of those sorts of things.
So gender, predominantly probably males. We do have assessment process, which I will be doing. Our main focus will be reviewing the medication because we will be monitoring what type of residents we will be receiving. So things like some of the PRN as needed medication, we will not accept anyone from the as needed medication.
No PRN at all?
Right.
Okay.
So we are on site 24 hours. We are the employees. We have an area where we will be there. The area is gated, it's all one, and it's 24-hour cameras, security service.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Ages? Yes.
can you ask for the age?
Right.
Is this for seniors, young adults? I didn't hear that.
I was just about to ask that, Ms. Brown. You are like being so psychic today on your first day back.
So it is adults. We're not no one under 18 adults.
Okay. Do you have a more specific age range?
No,
like
we don't.
Some people do vets, some people just do seniors.
So we want to target veterans, mental health, but like I stated, the medication do play a role. We would go out, visit wherever they were staying prior to, speak with their case manager, whatever their diagnoses are, we will have to review it because we want it to be suitable for everyone in the home.
Okay, all right. And you're gonna have someone, a staff person?
Yes.
24/7?
Correct.
Okay. And what are going to be their daily activities?
So
we are in partnership with MMS Adult Daycare Center.
Okay.
Which means that they'll be gone during the daytime, to that facility, then they'll come back. And we're also looking in the area to see if there's anything else that they can do in that area.
We did reach out to the community, to the councilwoman. They did come out tour. She brought the community center with her. They toured it. We want to be more of a resource. How can we transition individuals back to a great quality of life? How can they participate in the neighborhood? What can we do to help them?
So is there going to be some sort of training to get them back to work or
And
some
that's
sort
all
of
part
job placement?
That's all part of our business plan. I already do job placement, but those are our goals that we want to reach, that transition. It could be long-term or short-term stays.
Okay, and what about transportation for them?
So MMS actually has a transportation company.
Part two, yes.
Okay, nice. Okay, anything else? Okay. So will you be administering any of the meds, or are they going to be able to take them themselves?
So in the facilities, you have to monitor them.
Right.
We open it, but they administer their own medication.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go to Charles from the CDC.
Hello, board. Good morning. I think from our perspective on this issue, we would like to speak in support of the variance. We had the opportunity with the councilwoman in her office to tour the facility a few weeks back, able to both tour the current proposed, home that they're proposing here that they've beautifully renovated, and also the existing operational daycare behind the facility. From our perspective, we think that their track record for many decades in social services regarding childcare, as childcare providers, will help them be well established to be an operator in a residential adult facility. We also find this spot particularly well suited for potential clients who would be looking to use the facility as a reentry point to society, being adjacent to transit corridor, major transportation area, and also commercial corridors for potential job opportunities. And we think that being in that spot is a good location for these type of clients that the appellant is looking to serve. So that will be our statement.
Great, thank you. So the daycare facility is right behind this building?
Well, there's 2 homes in the front and a daycare system back.
Okay, and I'm assuming the daycare is fenced all the way around,
The
so.
whole property is fenced.
Okay, and then is the daycare fenced off separately then
Yes.
too? So we wouldn't have a risk of the children and the adults being.
No, yeah, they have their own area
They
that's
own their
gated
own.
that when
Yeah,
they come
yeah,
out.
Okay, so just want to make sure that we keep the kids secure, right? All right. Okay, folks here at the table,
Yes.
go ahead and speak.
I'm a homeowner that has lived right across the street for over 30 years. And my concern is the children. I don't know if I can maybe hand this to you. These are pictures that I have. And as far as the property, the daycare does not have it completely fenced off. It shares the driveway. And it shows other pictures of it that it's like actually open. And it would actually share the same parking lot. And that's my concern is the people that would be potentially in the group home that would be able to possibly have an access. And being taken medication and things like that, that they're not, may not be actually thinking logical or things like that if they're on medication. And even with the parking lot, that's right where the playground is also. And they would share the same parking lot. And then also not even a block away from there is an elementary school. And the kids go back and forth
In front of the house.
in front of our home and their home to and from school. And that's a concern to me also. We even went to the elementary school and spoke with the team there. And she was concerned herself about that situation. So, you know, even the neighborhood kids and things, that's my whole thing is just not only at this present time, if they use it for this facility, it's open for other things that can come in future. Like next year, it can be a different type of group home. I know there's different classes that, you know, that can go in there once it's zoned in there for that, but we're just concerned about the kids and how accessible that is to that property back there. And we've even spoke with the homeowners of the Gabe's Restaurant, which we've known for a long time too. So that's my whole concern.
And you're related, so.
Yeah,
my son.
yeah. I lived in the area my whole life. I was born in the hospital 3 minutes away and stuff like that and everything. So, and the daycare has been there for as long as I can remember. We knew the previous owners and different stuff like that and everything. And I know that us and a lot of neighbors are against it. And it seems like the people that are for it are not living in the area and don't know the area and don't have to like be there, like not be there like working, but be there like living. And like those kids in the area are our kids, like when it comes to like the neighborhood kids and different stuff like that. So we kind of like watch out for each other and different stuff like that and everything. I remember selling Pokemon cards when I'm 5 years old outside my house and stuff like that. Like I have 2 nieces now and different stuff like that. Like I don't know how unsafe this is going to make not only our street, but our neighborhood to the kids of the daycare, to the kids of the school and different stuff like that and everything. And yeah, it's just,
Okay.
it would have been any other type of business. Like it would have been a bakery, it would have been renting out to like another homeowner or different stuff like that. Literally any other type of like business, but it just feels like a group home to mentally ill people or homeless or anything like that is like very dangerous around kids and stuff like that. And it's like I can probably think of a few other businesses that would be somewhat worse in that area, but it's like that's pretty up there. And I'm against it and different stuff like that and everything.
Okay,
I really
so
don't.
you both are opposing it?
Yeah, I'm just concerned about the accessibility to children.
To the CDC, do you have any, because it sounds like there was a site visit with a number of people involved. Do you have any response to that, Charles?
Not particular to those comments. I think for our understanding, the facility, the childcare facility is going to be essentially completely separate and locked and closed and not have access from anyone except for an approved person who's picking the child up for daycare. That's as far as our understanding based on our visit.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
So if I may,
Yes, Kathleen Mosier has had her hand up, Ms. Brown, so we're gonna take her statement.
hi, my name's Kathleen. I am the executive assistant to Councilwoman Rebecca Moore. She's unable to make it this morning, but has authorized me to speak on her behalf. I was there at the tour as well, and I do a lot of the group homework that kind of comes through the office. And so I did want to respond to a couple of the concerns and comments that we've heard from residents. The first thing being, the risk to the children and the proximity. First, there are no laws on the books about the proximity to a child care facility or to a school for residential treatment facilities. And they're governed by the state of Ohio's mental health and addiction services, as well as the daycare facility being governed by the state for child care services. So between both of those licensing bodies, there's going to be a lot of oversight. And the second piece being, there's no basis to assume that these individuals are going to hurt children, are more likely to commit violent crimes than people who do not have a serious mental illness. There's no evidence supporting that. It's kind of part of a stigma that a lot of people have. And finally, I did want to say that we've been in touch with the principal and assistant principal at Benjamin Franklin, and they are both in support of this.
Okay, great. The piece about speaking to the principal, I think, is important as well. So thank you, Kathleen, appreciate that. And then I had a Frank Castro who wanted to make comment.
Yes, ma'am. There is direct access to the daycare.
Sir, you're gonna have to speak up. We can't hear you well.
Sorry. There is direct access to the daycare. I mean, there is no blocking or no fence. The other daycare door may be locked, but there is direct access. And as far as the site visit, that dog and pony show that went on, they dressed it up really nice on the porch with patio furniture and flower pots and everything. Right after the visit, everything was gone. So I don't know what's going on, what kind of facade is going on, but if there's going to be addicts in there as well as mentally challenged people, I'm not for it.
Well, I don't think anyone said anything about addicts, sir. So, okay. All right. Any other questions or comments, board?
Madam Chair, I wanted to know the age of the children in the daycare.
Excellent question.
They go from infant to 12.
Okay, infant to 12. Did you get that?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, where the property is at, if you look at the property, it is two fences that separate my two homes from the daycare. It's a red fence that go across there. Yes, it's open because it was due to construction. So we had the gates to that part open. But it is a red gate that goes this way that blocks these two houses off, and it's a red gate that blocks the driveway off. Now, far as between the houses, them two houses, it is parking space there as well. I just don't use it. Just like she said, the lady that I purchased the property from just never used that middle piece as parking because she got the bigger lot. I did have the school come out, the teachers came out, I did have gave the restaurant, they came out, they looked at it. And then far as the furniture that was on the front porch, yes, when they left, we put it up so wouldn't nobody take it. It's still there. I'm not gonna leave it there. No one's in the house and somebody come take it. So I did take the furniture and put it back in the house where it's normally at. The other thing is we had the house open to the residents over there. I've been there 5 years in the daycare over there. I finally purchased the whole property last October. From October to now, I've been working on the house. Yes, a little bit about Basic Creative Dream is my brother, who passed away, used to buy homes in Cleveland, fix them and sell them back to the people in the community. When he passed away, I just kept saying, what can I do? I just didn't want to rent the house and they tear it up. I said, well, I can give back by renting their rooms, you know, to people who need it, who's gonna appreciate a very nice home. I didn't cheaply do it. It's not the average little group home that people think. They got this imagine that group home's nasty, they crazy and all. It's not like that. I called the councilman, everybody to come over and look what I had did. I put my heart into what I did. It wasn't no cuts or anything. So I just want the community to understand, I'm not there to separate, I'm not there to cause any problems, I'm just there to make things a little bit better than what people have. And that's it. And then as far as my daycare is concerned, my daycare got their own play area. Yes, they shared a big parking lot because it's 12 spaces. So I didn't open up the middle to put cars there, to give them more room to maneuver. If somebody in a wheelchair, they can get out freely. But the parking lot do go on you and can turn around, but it's still little gates there if I just need to close them or open.
Okay. Yes, you had your hand up again.
I did want to say I do appreciate, everything that she has put in here, but when it comes down to it, it's just a concern of putting a group home in that area so close to sharing a daycare and a school. And I did speak with the dean at Benjamin Elementary, and I did speak to the owner, Gabe. So I don't know where that confusion got confused between us talking to them and the councilwoman's office talking to them. And I did speak with the councilwoman's office also.
Okay. Kathleen, Ms. Maggio was saying that she spoke with your office. Did you have conversation with her?
Yes, we did.
Okay, thank you. Right.
I just had one more thing to put in.
Yeah.
That the councilwoman's representative, I know she brought up that the councilwoman has agreed to other group homes, like in the area and in the city and in the ward and stuff like that, like approving some and denying some and different stuff like that. My question was, out of all of the ones that she approved, like since she's been in office, how many of them have been adjacent to a daycare, like for children below 12 years old and infants and stuff like that? If she says, oh, probably 2, 3 or different stuff like that, but if this is the only one, this is like a test situation from like type of thing, you know what I mean? So it's like, oh, we have experience with putting those next to daycares, but it's like, if this is the only one, why test it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why have children be the test subjects?
Kathleen, do you have any response to that?
Definitely. I really appreciate the concern that the Maggios have for the family in the neighborhood. I know that you guys have lived there a really long time, and I can totally understand, the immediate thoughts of safety for kids, because this sounds like a scary thing. But I gotta say, these people are already living near and with children. These are people's parents. These are people's siblings. These people are already in your neighborhoods. Like, kids have parents that have mental illnesses. These are things that are already happening. And like I said before, there's just no basis for expecting these people to behave in a violent or criminal way above any other group of people that is renting there. And that is why that the state laws reflect how they do as far as it being in proximity to a daycare, because we did check with the state and the licensing board, and we did check with the Adams board on it.
Okay. City planning?
Xavier Bay, representing city planning. So this property is also near capping a residential block near commercial uses, so we don't really see an issue here with relation to commercial use. I did also attach an email I received over the weekend from Councilwoman Moore, stating what was already mentioned about site visits and communication with the appellant. Yes, I would like, we recommend approval based on those grounds. And, we mentioned that, a recovery home would require different permitting, and you could make that, a condition to the approval of this if the board so chooses.
Great, thank you. Board, any further questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, it's Member Brown, and I move approval on ordinance 23-160, approving the use of the property at 2050 Spring Road for a residential facility per the calendar item, and hearing testimony from the community and the concerns, and also hearing from the operators and their experience and understanding of the concerns. Also with the support of the CDC and Councilwoman, I move approval.
Could I have a second, please?
Board Member Roca seconds.
Thank you, Ms. Roca. Ms. Kukla?
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Bates?
Yes.
Calendar number 23-160 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We will send you a letter, but please feel free to contact our office next Wednesday to talk about the next steps.
Thank you.
Have a blessed.
And thank you folks for coming in. I would say, your concerns were heard, and you have the councilwoman's representative on today. And so, I would follow up with them should anything concern you going forward.
Okay, thank
Okay?
you. Thank you for your time. I appreciate
Yes,
that.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right. On to 23-161.
All right. Our next case is calendar number 23-161. This is at 1602 Mayview Avenue. Mary Clute proposes to erect a 6-foot-high solid wood fence in an actual side street yard and a long driveway with a 3-foot by 3-foot sight line at the intersection with the sidewalk and driveway in an A1 one-family residential district. The owner appeals her relief from a strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. With that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you. Well, can I have everyone who plans to speak in this matter, please raise your right hand. After I administer the oath, reply with "I do," your name and your address. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Mary Clute here, 1602 Mayview. I do.
Thank
I
you.
do. Alex DeLees, Old Brooklyn Community Development, 4274 Pearl Road.
Thank you. Alex, can I have you spell your last name, please?
DELIC.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this matter?
I see B2 hearing aids powered by boats, control, and
Okay, Madam Chair, back to you.
and customize them to the needs and preferences on the website. Enjoy.
All right. Someone needs to mute their TV or something that's going on in the background.
I just dropped you.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's do history of the property.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change to the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1940, permit was issued to erect a dwelling in a garage. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent.
Okay.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Ellen is requesting area variances
from the fencing requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, the appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning.
Thank you. Okay. Mary, are you going to be telling us yourself what you want to do here?
Well, what I want is basically what was already there. I bought the house 2 years ago, but I've lived there for 6 years. And it has always had a 6-foot fence. Now, the pickets were bad and so were the 2x4s, so we were wanting just to replace that. I went down to get the permit. They said that there had never been a permit pulled for that area and that all of our houses on those corners were illegal. So my fence originally was up there for 18 years, and I honestly would like to keep the whole 6 foot, but am willing to do lower by the driveway and the front of the sidewalk to appease the zoning board.
I see that you've already got posts in the ground, so the project has been started then, correct?
The posts were already there. I just removed the 6-foot fence. I should have did the Google map and sent you what the fence looked like before we dropped it down.
Okay. All right. Alex from the CDC, do you want to make a statement, please?
Yeah, the CDC is in support of Ms. Coop's fence since it had been 6-foot fence for the last 18 years. She's also in close proximity to Harmony Park. She has a little bit more foot traffic around that area there. So I think with the 6-foot fence, she'll have a little bit more privacy from all the people that will be walking to and from the park. Doesn't seem to be any problem with the neighbors. I know we did one last year through the zone boarding right next door to her, which was another 6-foot fence, and that one got approved. So I don't see why she should have a problem. So she had a fence up for the last 18 years.
All right. And Mary, is it a solid fence that you have? Or is it just the rails that it looks like now?
The fencing that was up there was what you call a shadow box. But what I'm trying to do is to get a board on board, which there will be maybe a 1/2 inch in between each board on the fence all the way around.
Okay, so you want to do a board on board instead of the shadow box?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do we have any correspondence?
Remember, Xavier, did we receive a letter from Councilwoman?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, we read it.
All right.
Hello,
Yes.
this is Jeffrey Marte, 4112 Dennison.
We're not on it yet.
Oh,
We're not on
Just
your
see-
case yet,
I'm sorry, I
sir.
just see my building, that's why I apologize.
Okay, that was just to tease you.
Madam Chair.
I'm
I know I've
joking.
been here since 9:30.
I'm joking. I know, it's a long day.
My apologies.
We'll be with you as soon as we finish this.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought, I found the letter from
Thank you.
Laura, but, that was last.
Not for that case. Okay. All right. City planning?
Hi, Xavier Bay, representing city planning. I did have one, just like caution about, right there, as you can see the bottom right photo. I would recommend approval based on a chamfering the fence. Chamfer, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I was pronouncing it wrong. So similarly to, as you mentioned, or as was heard today, across the street, I think that was the requirement that we also gave them was to
Chamfer.
The fence right here, just as a precaution for the people that are coming up and down the street. As you can see from that photo, it'd be very difficult for somebody who is walking up the sidewalk to actually see a car coming out.
Right.
Vice versa.
I'm trying to recall what distance we did that previous one. Did we do 3 feet?
Sorry, Madam
Yeah.
Chair. I think we have them take out a panel on
each side.
Yeah, like, I think it's 8 or 9 feet for the panels.
Yeah, those panels would be 8.
Yeah, so.
Vinyl is 6, so wooden is
One-
8.
Yeah, one coming down, going down.
Okay,
the sidewalk,
right.
One going up.
That's
the
right.
driveway, and then.
Yeah, that's what we did. Okay, Mary, typically, what we call this is asking forgiveness instead of permission. Since there was already a fence there, though it wasn't your fence, and the posts are already up. Wooden fence, a panel of a wooden fence is typically 8 feet wide.
Yes.
Particularly the board on board. What we're going to ask you to do, and this is what we typically do in these sorts of situations, your CDC is supporting you on this, given your location and adjacency to the park, and the fact that there has been some precedent for the fence being there in the past. But if you can look at the picture of the lower right-hand corner where the car is in the driveway and that corner of fence, we're going to ask you to chamfer that corner of the fence, which means you will cut it off on a diagonal.
Okay.
So that it is the length of one fence panel. So you can just put one fence panel on that chamfered corner. So you'll cut it back 8 feet, so you've got the panel there on the corner, sort of on the diagonal. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Okay,
So
but
that'll be
meaning that once I pull back that panel, that I could do the 6 foot all the way around.
Are they 6 foot panels or are they 8 foot panels?
They're 6 foot panels, I believe. I'm not really for sure. My brother is supposed to be on here, but I haven't heard him chime in. His name is Daryl.
All right, I don't think he's with us. Do we have a Daryl?
See him online.
Okay. We're seeing a Daryl online. There's Daryl. Okay. Can you tell us, Daryl, if the panels are 6 or 8 feet?
All the posts are a little different. None of them are exactly 6 or exactly 8 feet in length. The height is 6 foot all the way around. Yes. The reason I have to draw it, that we put the fence at 3 foot. We didn't know if it had to be 3 foot or 4 foot, but to get away from the chamfer, because you'd still have line of sight if you had the fence at 4 foot. So basically, right now, my neighbor's fence is at a 45-degree chamfer, and it still poses a visual indifference, depending on vehicle. With what we're proposing with doing it 4 foot high, you would be able to see clearly over the fence for the distance of that 3 foot coming into the side yard, up the driveway, and on the sidewalk into the side yard.
So, are you proposing a chamfer plus a height?
No, just
Change?
the height change. The chamfer really does no. It serves almost no value if it's still 6 foot high. I mean, there's tons of kids in the area. We've never had an issue with the 6 foot that we currently have.
Yeah. So, on your drawing, I see that you've got it pulled back to 3 feet in each direction.
Correct. Because of the 6 foot rule, you basically divide the post or the distance between 2 posts in half. But with that being said, I was going to do 3 foot, but the 3 foot from the corner post in on both sides, I was gonna make that fencing 3 or 4 foot high, whatever the code is. I believe
You
it
were
was,
gonna
I thought
do
it
the
was
chamfer, you were gonna do the chamfered piece at either 3 foot or 4 foot high?
correct, but it wouldn't be in an angle. It would just be the 4 foot height.
Yeah, no.
That way
You're gonna,
it gives clear line of sight through that area.
yeah. Are you planning on buying panels of fencing, or are you gonna stick build this whole thing? Since
No,
the
I
posts
plan
are
on stick
irregular. Pardon?
Correct. I plan on stick building because they are irregular. And we
Okay.
actually have all the material in the garage.
Okay, all right. So we're still gonna want you to chamfer that corner, Daryl. And, so you can do a 6 foot across since you're stick building, rather than 8 since you're not buying panels.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to go across 6 feet. And we're just gonna want a new drawing submitted for that.
Okay.
Madam Chair, sorry, it's me. So that would be 6 feet up the driveway and 6 feet down the sidewalk, is that correct?
No,
Just to be clear.
that's not. So that's a 12 foot. Yeah. Because my neighbor doesn't.
Madam Chair, if I could, just for clarification to the appellant, what the chairwoman is asking is that you do not reduce the height, you just take out that section 6 feet in from the point where the driveway meets the sidewalk and 6 foot down the sidewalk. Not reducing or opening the fence or anything like that. They're asking for you to, or the chairwoman is asking for you to remove those not the panels, the sticks or the pickets.
The posts.
Yeah,
You mean the pickets?
No, I don't know that that was any more clear.
yeah, sorry, I thought I could make it.
Yeah, I don't.
It's the chamfer though, that's.
I can't do the drawing for you, Daryl, so
So-
what you're gonna,
So. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
can you, Xavier, can you like highlight the corner and do this, show him where the 6 foot needs to go? Or we need to clip it?
I have the drawing in front of me.
See, this is, you're saying,
Yeah. So you may have to move a couple of posts to make this happen, Daryl. But we're gonna let you keep the rest of the fence. But you're gonna have to do a diagonal panel across that corner. And it
Okay,
needs to be set back 6 feet.
Okay, so when you say setback, are you telling me that it has to go 6 from the point
If
of
you
the
can
corner
do a,
post?
if you take a 6 foot panel and put it on the diagonal, then you can have it run that way from the sidewalk to the driveway.
Okay, so that's 3 feet in either direction. Okay, all right. That's what my
Okay.
neighbor has done as well. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So, we don't typically like to have board-on-board fences right up next to the sidewalk. And certainly not 6 feet. But, so we're not gonna make you remove your fence, but you are gonna have to chamfer that corner. So put it on the diagonal, okay?
Ma'am.
All right, anything else, board, questions, comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Just the drawings.
I can do it. Having heard testimony from the appellant and the CDC, I move approval of calendar number 23-161 with the condition that new drawings are submitted showing that 6 foot chamfer on the diagonal adjacent to the driveway.
Could I have a second, please?
Board Member Roca seconds.
Thank you. Ms. Cooper, wanna call the roll?
Sure thing. Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Fate.
Yes.
Calendar number 23-161 is granted conditionally. We will hold ratification until we receive that updated drawing showing the chamfered corner. Once we receive those, we will we'll ratify the following Monday and send the applicant the letter.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Clune.
Thank you.
All right. Our last case of the day, number 23-162.
All right. Our next and last case is calendar number 23-162. This is at 4112 Denison Avenue. Florencio Perez proposes an application to use an upstairs and downstairs as a beauty salon in a D2 multifamily residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. For anyone giving testimony in this case, can I please have you raise your right hand? I will administer the oath, and please reply with "I do," your name, and your address. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. Jeffrey Marte, 4112 Denison Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44109.
Thank you. Anyone else?
No, there shouldn't be no one else.
All right, Madam Chair, back to you.
Okay, history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1956, a permit was issued to remodel a storefront. In 1983, a permit was issued to convert the existing dwelling from a single family to a 2-family. There is one variance on file for that specific change, and that is calendar number 83-254. That would be established in 1983. There are no other records that I would report at this time. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'm sorry, what was that 83 variance?
1983, and what was to convert from a single family to a 2-family.
Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board, appellant is requesting a use variance from the requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship, particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Great, thank you. Mr. Is it Marte?
Marte.
I have a Florencio Perez.
That's my dad, but I got power of attorney.
Okay, all right. We're gonna need you to submit a document showing, unless we already have that.
Yes, ma'am, I did already. I emailed it.
Yes, I believe, yeah.
Okay, we have it, so that's good.
Thank you.
All right, so go ahead, tell us what you want to do.
Basically, what I wanted to do is I'm in the process of opening a group on which I've been accepted by you guys already, and I have kids that are going to be trying to find different outlets for them. So we was thinking, the beauty salon and the barbershop would be a good outlet for them, just for learning experience and things like that. Also in that community, Denison, they ain't the offers that to the community. Don't hair salon. Really, it's not a hair salon. What I'm doing, do a nail salon upstairs and a barbershop downstairs. And at the same time, offering to the community, but at the same also, it'd be beneficial for the kids. Like take them there, they could, help out, learn, just experience itself for them.
So the plan is to do nails upstairs or hair and nails?
No, nails, just nails.
Just
upstairs.
nails?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
At the moment, yes, ma'am.
Nails on the second floor.
Yes, ma'am.
So are we talking about mani-pedi or just?
Yeah, no, mani-pedi, yes, yeah.
Mani-pedi.
Yeah,
Okay.
And then we don't have that in that area to offer to the community at all.
And then barber shop downstairs?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, hours of operation, sir?
Hours of operations would be Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5.
All right, and give me the chair capacity for each facility?
Downstairs, the goal is 5, minimum 5. Upstairs, also 5 tables.
All right. What's the parking situation?
Well, in the back, I'm gonna go ahead and put asphalt. The driveway's a little skinny at the moment, but we're gonna open it up a little bit wider, and we have enough parking in the back. If you can see, the church next door also got a lot of parking. It's enough parking in the back, so it won't bother nobody. I take care of the property. Even I cut the grass that the city don't cut. Been doing it for many years. Neighbors, we get along very good. We won't have no issue of basically drama, stuff like that, because it's gonna be more of a control of the environment, and we're gonna do it work hours, not no late barbershop stuff like that over there. Trying to keep it real as respectful as possible, and it's really gonna be more influential for the children. So we're gonna base it on family oriented and really respectful of that, and just offer something to the community also that they need.
Okay. All right, any questions or comments from the board? Okay, city planning?
Hello, City Bay, representing city planning. So Denison is really a mixed bag as you kind of go up, even though it's zone multifamily. There are multiple commercial uses up and down Denison, so it's not too outstanding from the culture, but the mixed border that Denison is. So it's good to hear that they're also thinking about where the parking is going to happen. I know this strip of Denison doesn't really get too much on-street parking, so that's good to consider. We would recommend approval.
Okay, city planning supports.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, we still have to get a motion and a vote, sir.
Okay,
So,
ma'am. Okay.
I'll entertain a motion, board.
This is Member Brown. I move approval of calendar 23-162, approving the conversion and use of a nail salon upstairs and a barber or beauty salon downstairs.
Could I have a second, please?
Board Member Wilson, I would second the motion.
Great, thank you.
Ms.
Kukla?
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Holter?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Bates?
Yes.
Calendar number 23-162 is granted. Will be ratified next Monday. We will send the appellants a letter. Sir, please feel free to contact our office next Wednesday, and we'll let you know if it's ready to proceed.
All right,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
You guys have a wonderful afternoon. I appreciate you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that was our last case. Moving on to old business. We have calendar, we have number 2 and number 6. So without objection, board?
Without objection.
Without objection.
All right.
Objection.
Great, thank you. And so we just have the case for October 9th. You wanna?
Yeah, this is a request from the council person to postpone the case until they are able to have that community meeting. The first hearing, we had to postpone it at the request of the council person, and I believe that it wasn't enough time. That's what she's stating, so it wasn't enough time for her to get that meeting in.
Okay, did she give us an idea how much time she needs?
No, actually, she did not.
So we'll push it out.
Push it out to November 21st, or
Yeah.
I'll be sure to get those letters out today so the neighbors know not to go. So November 21st, calendar number 23-151 is postponed to November 21st. Assuming no objections from the board.
Right. Any objections, board?
No objection.
No objection.
Without objection.
Excellent. It takes so long now that we have 5 people. In a good way. All right. Adjourned. Unless there's any other questions, comments, or objections to that. All right. Has everyone reviewed the agenda for October 9th? Do we have any conflicts or absences?
I have not seen it yet.
All right.
Okay, I'll send that out.
It will be in your inbox.
We'll take another look at it. Just a reminder that I will be out on October 16th.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Happy camping. And I hope you feel better.
Hopefully I feel better by then.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll send that October 9th out again for everyone.
Everyone has it. Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, good
Sherry,
to see you again.
Welcome
Great to have you back.
Welcome
Hopefully
back.
it went well. You can fill us in when we see you.
I'll see you next
Okay.
time. Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.